Hey folks, welcome to verifiedinvesting.com. My name is Gareth Soloway here with a deep dive on the altcoins. So it looks like we're starting to see a big breakdown on some of the bigger altcoins. Some of the smaller altcoins have broken down a while ago and they are starting to head back towards their lows. Let's deep dive into these charts. We're going to start with ETH or Ethereum. Let's take a look here, folks. And what we have very clearly is a down day on ETH. Now, a lot of this, you'd look at this and say, okay, what's the big deal? It's just a red candle down. We're not really taking out these lows just yet. What concerns me on a chart technical analysis basis is this trend line, right? So you essentially have this beautiful trend line that is ascending. And notice how, again, it's very clear that we started here at the beginning of this bull run when ETH was basically $1,400. It touches this low. It touches right here and here. And ultimately, it continues over all the way over. And the problem here is that you don't want to see a daily close below this trend line. Now, listen, a daily close doesn't confirm a breakdown, but it is step one in a process that could be a breakdown process, right? So we obviously look for confirmation on the chart, which would be a close below with a secondary lower close lower than the previous day's close, right? So let's say this is the low today. If tomorrow, let's say we close below the orange line, if we close below the low here, that would confirm a breakdown. But the point being is that this is concerning if you're an altcoin investor, because it's essentially showing that the trend line, number one, has been hammered many times, so it's weaker. And number two, it's trading below early in the day when there's a little bit of an upside move in the stock market, which would be risk on. That should be good for altcoins, and we're not seeing that here. And that continues to be a theme we've seen recently, where the stock market makes new all-time highs, but crypto has been stalling out. And again, we've seen the sentiment in crypto starting to falter quite substantially. But this is concerning here, folks. Now, listen, if today we can rally and close back basically above 3,800, then that's safe. Then it's good. It's held the line and it got back above the edge of the cliff and it's not falling off the cliff. But again, if we close below, that's problematic. Now, look at this. This is your Solana chart. All right, Sol. What's going on with Sol here? The same sort of thing. If we take a look at this, look at how this trend line has been tagged every single time. What do I mean by that? Here's your low going back to basically 95 on Solana back in April, the April lows. Take that low, connect it to that low there in June, and then look at how every low here tags, and tags. Now, this is, again, as of now, it's in breakdown warning territory on Sol. All right, so we have to watch very closely. And remember, folks, I am neither a bull nor a bear on these charts, right? I couldn't care less whether I'm looking at Sol or Apple or, frankly, any asset class. Could be gold, for instance, right? The key is the charts dictate my thought process, meaning that if the charts tell me the probability is favoring one way, I'm going to say that. If it's all of a sudden recaptures and starts a bull move, well, guess what? The probabilities shift. And so let the chart dictate. I know we all have those personal emotions on investments, but really probability is the cleanest way towards massive wealth. Because if we always bet with a high probability, we know that out of every 100 investments, for instance, we're going to make money on 75 of them, or 80, or 65, whatever it is. The favoring side is the key. So again, on Sol, this is a concerning move. Let's see where it closes today. If it closes below, do we confirm it tomorrow? Now, just to go over some price targets, if we do confirm, your first target is going to be 157. This is a key level. In fact, let me just quickly here. Yep, we'll just extend this out. You can see again, this even goes back here. This high pivot, pull back, high pivot. It actually was a little inverse head and shoulders back here, which dictated this move up. Then we retraced to the scene of the crime, and then we went up. So it makes sense that this will be support at 157. If 157 breaks, you're looking at a 127 low pivot here, right? So this would be your next big support level on Solana. So target one, target two, this is only relevant if we confirm the breakdown. Obviously, I'll update you guys in the next few days should we start to head lower. Now, just flipping back to ETH, what if ETH confirms here? What's your first major target? Your first major target to me is this area right in here. And again, this would be that first target area right around 2,700, 2,750. Notice you went up, hammered, 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 and broke out, this would be your key retrace of seen crime. I would actually be a buyer on this, guys. So again, like I said, I'm neither a perma bull nor a perma bear. The key is, where does price come down to where probabilities are high that it's going to get a bid off of that? And then that's where I want to invest, right? And then likewise, where is probability at its highs? And I was short ETH when we were trading near 5,000 with members of Smart Money Crypto at Verified Investing, where I give out my trade alerts, right? So we were short up there. Now we've been watching for this breakdown, and I already have my buy set should we dump out with members, right? So again, that's the key, just knowing your levels. So if we really dump out, you're going back to this 2750-ish area. That would be a sizable bounce candidate for a swing trade long. Now, looking at some, so this is very interesting, right? So in this video, I'm focusing on ETH and Solana, basically the two mega players, right? Obviously, there's XRP. If you've been following the videos that I've put out on my channel on XRP, we know that essentially XRP broke down a while ago, and then it retraced to the scene of the crime, and I've been bearish on that, and sure enough, it's coming in. We'll look at that. But what's interesting is a lot of the other altcoins that are like lower market cap, like the Avalanches, the Chain Links, the Cardanos, I mean, they're still in the top 20, but they're not really, they're not the biggest, the best, the Solanas, the ETHs, right? And what we've seen is that those actually have stayed very weak and are very close to the crash lows already as they start retracing. So they never had a chance for a breakdown because they had broken down literally a week to 2 weeks ago. So just keep that in mind. So let's go to this here. Let's flip over to XRP. This was the chart on XRP, right? We had this beautiful wedge pattern, right? Notice this was a former pivot high. It broke out, support, 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 and likewise resistance is up here. It broke on the crash, retraced, kissed the underbelly, tried again to break back above and failed, and now it's coming back in. This does not, for me at least, does not become a big buy until it probably gets to about 177 on XRP. If we look at Avalanche, look at this. I mean, you did get, here's your crash. You got to bounce, but look, it broke. I mean, it broke all these levels. My buy zone, though, is down here. I'll start nibbling once we get to about 1550 to about 1480. Anywhere in this range, pivot low, we should get some sort of bounce on Avalanche. If we go to Cardano here, folks, look at this. This is even making new lows from the crash. I've isolated this. Look at this, how on the crash it broke versus on the crash, Bitcoin didn't break, right? On the crash, Ethereum didn't break. So you can very much see that the slightly smaller altcoins, even though they're still big, right? They have been a lot weaker. And you can see Cardano's even broken these lows here, but I do have a buyable level down around 51, 52, 50 cents, right in that vicinity. And then lastly, Chainlink, here was your wedge. It broke, retraced, lower highs right here, high, lower high, and now it's looking like it wants to fall all the way into my buy zone here at around 1370 to 1260 or so. And so, yes, there are buyable levels approaching, which is great on some of these altcoins, but we have to see, again, them get down to those levels. And really, if we see, right, if Solana confirms the breakdown, if ETH confirms the breakdown, then the odds of these other altcoins getting down to these levels is very, very high, right? Because if those bigger coins that are slightly bigger in market cap are going to fall, then these are going to fall as well. At least that's the thought process. Now, again, there will be buyable levels. Again, the key is be a probability trader. We can see exactly where the probabilities are, the high probability sell side action versus buy. And that's what I'm here to basically give you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in, folks. If you think this video is quality, please share it with friends and family that you would think would enjoy a more technical, probability-based approach. It's how I train my brain and how I've made, honestly, millions in the markets. All right. So, think about it, share it. That's all I ask from you. I'll keep bringing you the alpha. Have a good one. Take care.